everybody. Red and white and black.
7:27 in Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to talk cricket now, and just to update you on the Ashes Test match that is into its third day, the first test at Trent Bridge in Nottingham. Before we talk with our next guest, England in their second innings, 136 for 4. That means they'll lead by 71 runs with 6 wickets in hand. They've lost a couple of wickets this morning. The overnight batsmen have been dismissed. Kevin Peterson and Alistair Cook. Cook, the last to go, dismissed by Agar for 50. And of course, he's the 19-year-old who came close to making a sensational bit of history. Well, he's made history already. 98 dismissed in his first test innings at the age of 19, batting at number 11. And now he's gotten his first test wicket, getting rid of Agar. Getting rid of Alistair Cook for 50. So England in their second innings, 136 for 4. They lead by 71 runs with 6 wickets in hand. Well, it was a back-to-back disappointment for West Indies fans, from not advancing out of the group phase of the ICC Champions Trophy to not making the final of the Tri-Nation Series here in the Caribbean. It was won yesterday sensationally by India. It's been a couple of rough months. Well, hopefully things will turn around for the visit of Pakistan. The first one-dayer in that 5-match series is in Guyana on Sunday. So where did we go wrong? Maybe our next guest will have the answer. He's a former captain of the West Indies, arguably the most successful captain of the West Indies. In fact, statistically, he is, and generally considered one of the finest captains of all time, Clive Lloyd. He is in Trinidad and Tobago as a guest at the cricket training camp in Charleville. Joining him is the camp coordinator, Vijay Rahaman, and I know the camp concludes this morning. A very good morning to you, gentlemen.
Morning, sir.
Good to have you on the program.
Thanks for having us.
Clive, before we talk about the camp and your role in the camp and what sort of advice you've been able to impart during the course of the few days you would have had with the youngsters, give us your own take on where you see West Indies cricket at in the context of the Champions Trophy performance and now this Tri-Nation Series.
Yeah, I think I'm disappointed in the sense that we seem to be doing very well in the shorter form of the game. The longer form, we seem to struggle a bit. In most of the teams that I've been involved with, there's always balance, and I think you should have balance in any team you have. At the moment, it seems that we're into this one-day mode, and we're not concentrating for the longer form, let 50 overs and beyond.
Because we seem to be almost in T20 mode almost permanently. You've got IPL, you've got Big Bash, you've got the CPL starting at the end of this month. Everything seems to be on T20.
Well, you think I see the T20 game as an exhibition, and the Test match as an examination.
You sound like an old fogey.
Yeah. Well, I am. But the point is that we seem to we just stuck in that sort of warp, that sort of situation. We don't seem to be coming out of it. Even looking at the young players now in Guyana and here, everybody wants to, because
everyone wants to try a reverse sweep, try a dill scoop,
and trying to hit it out of the ground. And it's good to see somebody sort of playing a nice little cover drive and so on. And I'm wondering what is happening in our HPC centre, because if you notice over the years, if Pakistan sends out a youngster, or England or India, they're making hundreds.
Yeah.
But our guys are taking a little longer. Charles is he seems to be being able to adjust to both. But if they have more like him, I think we need to get him in there as quickly as possible. Our cricket just lacking that bit of an edge, and I think it comes from not having our great players playing in our domestic cricket.
That's a significant point as well. We'll develop that in a few minutes. But Vijay Rahaman, tell us a bit about the training camp. It concludes today. How has it gone so far?
It has gone very well, very, very well. It's down in the Charleville Recreation Ground in Chagonas. Currently we have 2 coaches, Philip and Frank Susano. We have a 10 and under group and an over 10 group. And we have obviously the legendary Clive Lloyd overseeing. He spends equal time with each group. We work on all aspects, batting, bowling, fielding, but not only cricketing aspects. We give them discipline skills as well, because obviously not all of them would want to pursue cricket. Yeah. So obviously we have a life after cricket, so we try to teach them life skills as well.
How long does the camp run for?
Well, it started on Monday and finishes today.
And the automatic question will be, can you do enough to impart either life skills or proper basic coaching techniques in such a short space of time?
Well, generally, I would say yes or no. Yes, in terms of you give them the basics. You give them the basics and you get them enthusiastic about cricket. Get them excited about cricket. Long term, in terms of the no part, not in 5 days, obviously. You can't learn 5 days. But we have other aspects within the business where they can join and further their cricketing skills.
Clive, from your own perspective, what can you do? What can someone who's obviously an icon in the game, what can you impart in such a short space of time that could light a spark to inspire some young player?
Well, I think when you're speaking to youngsters and they're listening to you actually, and if they're keen enough, I think you can, something might just give them that spark to continue. They have a little guy there. I think he's going to be a good little cricketer. Bilal.
Sachin
Bilal, left arm.
Yeah.
He's
Every young
sharp.
cricketer these days named Sachin, you know.
Well, it seems so,
You're from
yeah.
that part of the country. There's always a Sachin. And as it used to be an Imran as well.
Well, once they continue
Let me get some
in
Clives
that
too
path, well, the point is that you get excited when you see somebody, and I was excited when I saw this guy. I didn't know he can bowl. He batted fairly well, and when he took this new ball and he started to, and you can see that this guy and a left arm quick. You don't find them often.
Yeah.
So that is somebody that you can take from that into a big arena, and I think he would excel. He seems to be quite interested in playing. He's 15 or 16.
Yeah.
And they're enthusiastic. I would like to see this camp probably twice a year. I'm hoping to take some of them that look good enough to Guyana.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to have the same sort of thing in the future, in the next couple of months or so.
And Vijay, is there still that real strong passion for the game among the group that you're working with? Because there's still, again, that feeling, because West Indies cricket was in the doldrums for so long, and there have been so many issues surrounding it, that you have football and so many opportunities in football, financial and otherwise. Is there still that real passion for the game through what you're seeing in your training camps?
Oh yes, for sure. I'll just give you a quick example.
Yeah.
We have our lunch hour from 12 to 12:45, and even during the lunch hour, the kids go and play cricket when we tell them to relax and eat. And so even though they're very, 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 very passionate for the game, and they always come and tell me, like if they play a match, they come and say, "Coach, I made so much runs and so much wicket." Even though I wasn't out there when they come and tell me. So I definitely see the passion for the game. Yes, there are other sports out there, but cricket, especially with T20, has brought the enthusiasm a lot.
Does that create a responsibility for those custodians of the game, Clive Lloyd? And I know I might be drawing you into the politics of cricket with the whole question of you almost being overlooked for the position of president of the West Indies Cricket Board, the situation, cricket politics in Guyana and all of that. But the broader issue is, our administrators seeking the best interests of these bright young talents throughout the region, so they will be able to fulfill their potential? I
hope that that they look at the territories and just try. The most difficult territories are the Windwards and the Leewards. There are quite a few islands.
Yes.
But they need special attention. The other islands they have a system, and a pretty good one. And if we can just get that together, working with the older players, we have some of the greatest cricketers in this region.
Greatest of all time.
And not working at all with any youngster or youngsters really throughout. We have a girl there too who's doing very well. We have women cricketers in Guyana who are excellent, but don't have that sort of coordination to get them going. We need people working together with the HPC Centre, with the West Indies Cricket Board, and if they can get together and try and see if they can get the people to inculcate the right things, then our cricket system would be much better.
How difficult is it? You said if you could get it. How difficult is it for people to get together cricket-wise, period, far less to get together to focus on any particular direction?
The point is that it seems that people don't want these cricketers who've excelled. They're not involved in our cricket. Why, I do not know. You look at the Guyana system, we have a cricket board, but not a cricketer.
Are you all a threat? Are you all perceived to be a threat because of the stature in the game?
It's got to be something like that. We have a West Indies Cricket Board, we have Joel Garner alone. If you look around the world, every cricket board do have about 7 or 8 cricketers there because it's cricket. business people do have their place. You know, the lawyers and so on, they have a place, no doubt about that.
Lawyers have a place out of the game. The further they keep lawyers, the better. But that's my own issue. It's an axe of grinding all the time, so I apologize for that.
Lancashire, which I'm still a committee member, and their committee, we have 16 people, and 6 must be cricketers. It's enshrined in the constitution. And that's what we need. We need cricketers around cricket. Now you tell me, when we were successful, who was running the cricket?
Primarily those who played the game. Yeah.
I'm not saying that we don't have,
because the argument is, Clive, that this is the argument put forward by former players. When you need to have the trained professionals, like at the helm of Australian cricket, James Sutherland. He's not a cricketer.
Yes, he played in the leagues. He's played cricket for the state.
Yeah.
So he knows about the game. It's not that if you look at the Australian brochure, and you can see all of the discipline committee, 5 of them are cricketers. This other committee, and they're cricketers involved with every aspect of their game. That's why cricket does not suffer. Even the cricket that is played at weekends, not state,
the grade cricket,
do have cricket people in there, and their cricketers have a very high standard. Our problem is that our cricketing, the standard of our cricket, even into Ireland, it's not that high. Trinidad is much better in the sense they have cricketers coming from other islands. So it's lifting the standard. I would like to have a system with Trinidad and Guyana that there's only half an hour's flight.
Yeah.
And they can involve themselves in our cricket. We can involve ourselves in theirs.
Almost more Guyanese in Trinidad than Trinidadians.
Well, that's why the place is in the lift. You see.
Exactly. I'm surprised you didn't say more. But Vijay Rahman, how long have you been running this cricket camp?
Well, this is the 2nd annual cricket camp we had. Last year we had one with Chivden and Chandapur.
Right.
Same during the summer holidays. That was over a weekend, Friday to Sunday.
I talked about summer already. We don't have summer. But anyway, go ahead.
The July-August vacation.
Yeah.
As respecting.
Yes.
Yes, and so this year we have another camp with Clive. But the goal is to have one during all the vacation periods. Unfortunately, we were not able to have one last year Christmas or this year Easter.
Right.
But fortunately, we were able to have one this summer.
It obviously involves a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of organization. Do you get a lot of satisfaction from the entire exercise?
Oh, a lot. Just simply when a kid comes up to me and say, I really enjoy it. Just be one kid. One kid. Don't have to be all of them. Just one kid, and you know that you made an impact in one child's life.
The parents can be a pain in the backside.
No, actually, the parents
are there.
Yeah.
The parents have been
they
very,
stay
very
all
supportive.
day too.
Yeah.
No, in fairness, I mean, I'm a little hard because some of them could be a pain, but the vast majority of
the parents have been very, very
quite
supportive.
Good. But that's good to hear
that
the parents are there and thereabouts. And just you mentioned, Clive, in your opening comments about our focus on T20. But you look at the current structure that the ICC is handing down with this Future Tours program, we're almost being squeezed out of Test cricket completely.
Well, right, because and you see, I think we must tell our cricketers, the top class cricketers, that until you get up that ladder, you will always get the crumbs.
But how are you going to get up if you're not even being allowed to play anybody anymore?
No, because the point is, when we get, like we have India and Pakistan down.
Yeah.
What are they playing? One day cricket. But you see, if you got to start beating whoever we play, we must beat them, and try and get up that ladder. Because the point is, when we in the halcyon days, the point is that by winning, we still have the same 6 million people or whatever, but we dictated to people, we are coming for this, we are coming for that. You see, we could never have a reciprocity situation with the big countries because they have bigger stadiums, more people, and
but is that right, Clive? I just want to make the point because I make it over. In any other sport, if you have a league format, everybody plays everybody. In cricket, it seems to be about bilateral relationships, what you and I can negotiate under the umbrella of the ICC. That can't be right.
Yes, it isn't. I still think that there are things that they can do. The point is, they're now saying everybody must play a certain amount of test matches per year.
16 test matches in 4 years. Think about it.
Yeah.
The minimum, that is only 4 test matches a year. Even in the the period previously when there wasn't all of this sort of cricket. You played a lot more than 4 test matches a year.
Yeah.
So basically, is the ICC abandoning its responsibility to preserve test cricket as its prime?
Well, I
primary
hope
thing?
not, because they're thinking of having a championship.
Yeah, on
so the point
2017.
is that it is I don't know, when they go to these meetings, they've got to be forceful. Our people must be forceful.
People listen to us at these meetings because I know you are at the ICC, you are a match referee, you've been involved in different committees and so on. Do they really take us on as the West Indies?
It's the big four.
Is what I'm saying.
And the point is, that is why I was saying during our period, because we were champions, people wanted to play because we were giving them money. Whenever we went to Australia, filled. Pakistan, India.
And even though we were beating them, they wanted us there.
They still. And I'm saying to our players, we got to try and get back into that system. We have to try. We must tell our players it's important to win because we have more sponsors. Money is a subsidiary of success. If you do well, people want you to be there. We must instill in the young players, the under 15, the under 19s, the under 25s or whatever, that gentlemen, this is how we must play our cricket. We are playing to win because we do not have the people like the other countries. We don't have the resources, So winning will be our biggest bet, really, to get into the money system. Because we can look at Indian, they're the people.
They're running the show. You see,
Australia,
they're playing here, and there's only Indian advertising left, right, and centre. It's almost like you're playing in Mumbai, which is like the old days when you were captaining the West Indies in Trinidad in the 70s and 60s. It's like you're playing in Bangalore, the way things were going. But Vijay Rahman, the coaching that is imparted, are you emphasizing the basics, the fundamentals of the game? Because as we've noticed, young players are attracted by what they see. Reverse sweeps and all sorts of things, looking to go over the top every time. How do you impart your coaches impart the basic points on the game?
Well, the main thing for the coaches in terms of imparting the basics is to let them know, if you don't learn the basics, you won't be able to play the fancy shots. So you learn the basics and then you can learn the fancy shots or whatever. You learn how to hold the bat, you learn to pitch line and length, you learn the forms of catching, everything. You learn. Our coaches make sure and teach them the basics first before anything else.
And those fundamentals, Clive, do they still apply from your own point of view?
Well, you have to explain to them that in order to hit the ball like Gale, you have to know the basics. It's like everything you do. If you do French at school or maths, the basics are important. If you have your basics right, then you have that formula to do better. But I must say it's a very enthusiastic bunch of players. I'm sorely enjoying it. I didn't think I would have as much.
Because there is that feeling that when you've been in the game as long as you have, a day with the youngsters at cricket is just another day because you've seen so much. You've been all over the world, World Cup champions, played the game for so long, been involved with the game for so long. How do you get a buzz and be excited by an environment like this?
Well, like I said, with the youngster that I saw, the left-handed guy, and some little guy that's coming and batting. There's a little guy had the best batting stance I've seen for him. He was about this high, but he was so perfect. I said, oh, he's going to be good, and playing terrific shots. Those things excite you because you can work with guys like that. And I hope that their parents understand that if they're interested, that they should try and see that they get into a club and want to get to the top. So we should have more of these, really.
But Vijay, do we have the system in Trinidad and Tobago? You're involved in a coaching school. Do we have the system that says, as in other countries, where you identify tremendous talent from very early and then they can work through the system to get to the top? Do we have that allows them to get into a club, get into an environment where they can continue to develop? From your own knowledge of the system we have in Trinidad and Tobago, does that exist right now?
I believe it does. But it's enthusiasm for the kid. If the kid shows that, yes, the passion for the game, I believe there are parents already who would push their kids to pursue cricket as a profession.
But is the structure there with the clubs? Because sometimes you have a situation where, because clubs are competing with one another to win a national league,
right,
they'll pay extra money to bring in star players and so on, and you have your young developing players who are left in the second side or in the reserve team and never get an opportunity and are frustrated.
Well, obviously the frustrations will be there. Obviously young players come out, they will have frustrations, but the only advice I could give them is to keep at it. With anything you want to do in this world, you have to keep at it. They won't succeed without
But
it.
you know, we live in a very impatient era, you know, Clive. Everybody expects everything now. This is a fast food era. How tough is it to tell a young person, you know, you have to wait your turn?
Yes, I think they realize at a stage that it's going to take some time for me to perfect things, because you can see them batting and you know that they haven't, you know, they're perfect in everything, and that the time will come, you know, and you will know. It's no doubt about that. The good thing about, we have two sections of the very young and the sort of middle range, and the middle range ones are good. There's no doubt about that. There's some terrific, and there must be a lot of good cricketers around Trinidad, and it's just to harness that talent. Good, and if they can harness that talent, then the cricket would flourish.
We have a few minutes left with Clive, Lloyd and Vijay Raham, and talking about the conclusion of the coaching and the training camp that takes place in Charleville. And the graduation process takes place today. But let's talk a little bit about leadership, Clive, Lloyd, because we started this morning by introducing you as our most successful captain, one of the most successful in the world. We have a situation now where you've had Darren Sammy leading the West Indies to success in the World T20, 6 consecutive Test match victories, admittedly against lower-ranked opposition. You've now got Dwayne Bravo as captain, or when he's not injured or when he's not suspended, captaining the West Indies team. Are you seeing any encouraging signs in the leadership department? Because there was a feeling for some time that we were suffering from a crisis of leadership on the field in West Indies cricket.
Well, you have to give Sammy credit. He's done very well. He's brought the side. They look like a side when they're playing. I just think I have nothing against Dwayne at all, but I'm saying that if you're saying to me that I can't play in this tournament, then you can't play as a player. You're going to be replaced as a youngster. Good, because what are you telling me then, that I'm not good as a captain in 50 over game? I mean, I don't understand how they're doing things. Here we have the situation with the wicketkeeper.
Yeah.
You cannot have any makeshift wicketkeeper unless he's very good.
Yeah.
Because if he drops Sangakkara and somebody, you know, in a one day, they will make use of it. Players make use of their chances. So the best wicketkeeper should always be there. And I think that if he can bat, then it's a bonus.
But hasn't that philosophy changed, Clive? Because you see it now. Well, Adam Gilchrist, Jeffrey Dujon in your time, Kumar Sangakkara, who you just mentioned, Matt Pryor of England, Brendan McCullum of New Zealand, even Mushfiqur Rahim of Bangladesh, where the current trend seems to be where the wicketkeeper is not just a specialist glove man, and I know we're touching on the Dinesh Ramdin situation where he's been dropped from the one-day squad, that you're expected not to score 10 and 20 and do me a little favor, you're expected to produce frontline runs.
How often are you expecting Ramdin to make runs when you look that you've got 6 of the best batsmen in the world, the best strikers in the world? If I have to depend on Ramdin every game, well, then they're not doing their job. The point is that they should have 6 guys there. If you're playing this wicketkeeper, that means you're either looking to play another bowler or another batter. If 7 batters can make it, 8 wouldn't. Good. So the point is then, put Ramdin up. Make him bat a bit earlier so that he can get, because he's not one of these guys can bang, and he takes his time to do so. So in the 2020, fine, you can play Ramdin, because how often is he going to get a hit?
Yeah.
But in the longer form of the game, the test matches and so on, he will make runs. 50 overs, put him up. You must have your best wicketkeeper, because when
So you think it's an error to leave him out?
it's silly. You cannot have a makeshift wicketkeeper who's dropping to. Not only that, you notice the amount of extras we've given him.
Yes.
31. That's 5 overs
But
extra.
do you blame him for that, or do you blame the keeper, or do you blame the bowlers, because the bowlers spraying it all over the place?
But Ramdin will get to most of them.
You're making yourself very popular in Trinidad and Tobago right now.
I'm just being basic. I'm being intelligent in the sense where cricket is concerned. You do not pick makeshift wicketkeepers. You have to have the best wicketkeeper. And you have, what happened to the guy from the island? What's his name? Joseph? Is it Joseph, his name? Left hand. He played in the World Cup.
So I'm struggling. But I just draw a blank right now.
But and then you have Ball.
Devon Thomas from
Devon
Antigua.
Thomas.
Okay, right.
So, where are all these guys? You cannot have a makeshift wicketkeeper. I'm sorry. I believe in balance. Anytime you're picking a team, you must have balance. And we have too many all-rounders too.
You think? Well,
Well,
I know.
totally.
Well, I'm not surprised you said that because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
from an era of the specialists, where you had your top 5 in your batting order, your wicketkeeper, and 4 fast bowlers who will flatten everybody inside. But is it because we have a different era now? You have your Darren Sammys, your bits and pieces cricketers. You have your Andre Russell. You have your Dwayne Bravos. You have your Kyron Pollards, who will give you a bit of, even though they might be a specialist in a particular field. Has the game changed significantly, Clive? Where now it's the not full-blown all-rounders who are so specialist like a Jack Callis, but players who contribute in both aspects of the game.
Well, that's what an all-rounder is. We have bits and pieces. You can bat a little bit, and we don't want that. You have to have balance. 2 guys, 2 all-rounders, 2 good quickies, your wicketkeeper, and the rest of your batters. And I think that you might have a spinner if you can something like that. But there's no balance. I'm talking about the team of itself need balance.
It's an interesting discussion, and it's a clash of eras and a clash of styles, I suspect, in many ways. Clive, Lloyd, always good to get your perspective.
Cheers.
Thanks once again
Thanks very
for coming in. And Vijay, all the best with your continued efforts in ensuring that young people have the opportunities to retain that passion for the game, which, as you say, is very, very strong indeed. And as I said, in central Trinidad, because of the ethnic mix down there's always a Sachin coming up who plays the game and has a tremendous amount of talent. Used to be an Imran at one point, now there are Sachins. Sachin Tendulkar, that's the impact of him. 7:53, we have the news, and we're continuing just a bit on Sporting Edition this morning. We'll be back.